we're here, Halton Hills Online, of course, your local radio and your local tell and sell. I'm Big Daddy. And we have Leah, of course, Leah Lywood is here as well. And we love hanging around with people from Halton Hills, and we especially love hanging around with rock stars. And we have our very own rock star in Georgetown, one of two. And that is, of course, we have the one and only Chris. What was your last name again?
Oh, you don't want to screw it up, do you?
No.
Krupey.
Krupey, I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
Chris Krupey of the Red River Riot, an Acton band. And like the Zombies did many years ago, they split up. They broke up in the 60s, and then finally this disc jockey by the name of Kenny Everett said, oh, I like this song here. He was a big DJ, and he played the song, and it was a huge hit. And then suddenly they got back together again, the Zombies. It's your last album already. You're finished,
yep.
Right? And we've just got to you now. God, we're late, Leah.
Oh, that's okay, but we're going to get them going forward. And
but the ironic thing that ties it all together is the fact that you do a great cover song of a Zombies record, don't you?
Yeah, we did Time of the Season. And we recorded it during COVID. And if you recall, at that time when it first started, a bunch of us musicians who weren't able to go out there and play, we decided to do these, quote, lockdown sessions, so to speak. And it gave us, actually, it worked in our favor because it allowed us a lot more time in the studio to work on different material, work on stuff that we've been pushing off to the side, like that Time of the Season song. And we just released a whole bunch of recordings available on Spotify during that little lockdown period that we had in 2020. And I think we did that one, and then we did my wife, she urged us to do, and she was right, because she always is right.
You'd best say that.
Yeah, we did Eva Destruction as well. So
yes,
keeping with that 60s
the Barry
theme.
McGuire song,
yeah,
from the 60s.
Amongst
great
other things,
protest record, that is. And tell us, before we get into it, because Leah's got a few questions that she wants to ask you. And I just wanted to know the name of your partner and how many albums have you put out so far?
Well, Joe Field is the drummer, sometimes guitar player, co-writer, partner in crime. And what was the other question? How many albums?
Yeah,
we have 3 albums and I think 6 or 7 singles.
And how do they find you on the internet? You have your own website, right?
Yeah, you can find us on theredriverriot.com. You can find us on Facebook at the Red River Riot, Instagram, social, TikTok, all the socials at the Red River Riot.
And all your videos are there too?
Yep, and you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you can find music, there we are.
And one more thing, you live on Kingham. You're part of the Kingham Chronicles here in Acton.
Yes, we don't discuss the Kingham Chronicles until the book's done.
Of course, the book is being written now.
That's right.
But it's a great neighborhood, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really interesting. It reminds me actually of growing up in Montreal. I lived in a little street called Rodette Street in Ville de Salle, and it had similar buildings where everything is joined together. Yeah. And when you have that kind of environment, I think it kind of encourages a sense of community with your neighbors, whether you want to or not. And you get the similar vibe on Kingham because you get to know everyone, you get to know whether you want to or not their business and my business.
Welcome to small town living, right?
Small town living, but
you just described the tell and sells.
Basically, it's a tell and sell, but in real life.
More real life.
More real life. And
in person, not on a computer.
I'll let Leah get into some of the questions because she's done a lot of homework on you guys. And by the way, all your videos are available, and you guys rock.
Thank you so much.
You guys are check the videos out, folks, and we'll link them up, won't we, Leah?
Oh yeah, well I did. I already posted once with a link. The actual video is a video that is on their Facebook page. And then I also linked the website is already up there as a kind of a promo, getting it out there so people know when we get this out, then they have something to look at and find out what they want and hear the music.
Thank you so much.
So your questions? Here she comes.
So I was kind of curious where the Red River Riot, how did you come up with that name?
Oh, it was an absolutely mundane task of me writing down a whole bunch of words, whole bunch of different names, and then Joe went, I like that one.
Sounds like me with a lot of stuff I do.
And I went, are you sure? And he went, oh yeah. that's our name. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's our name.
I thought it was something to do with the Red River in Winnipeg.
I tried to shoehorn that
Yeah.
into our narrative. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
thought you
true.
guys were based
I
at one
would-
time in Winnipeg, and with my buddy Red River Reg and the Saddle Sores, who used to play in the outskirts of Winkler there back in the old days. But no, I thought you had some ties to Winnipeg. But that's interesting. So you just potluck.
Potluck, that one, absolutely.
Lee.
So, how did you originally get into music?
I think I was born into it. Yeah, I was
Most
born
musicians are really,
yeah,
but
born into it. I haven't been asked that question in a long time. My mother was a singer. My father was a flamenco guitar player, a wicked fiddler, and an even better mandolin player.
Wow.
My brother played guitar. He's about 11 years my senior, and it was always around because my parents would have people over and they'd always be playing. And I think that just naturally rubbed off on me. So I started violin when I was 4 or 5, hated it. And it took me a few years off to get my butt kicked in football. Found that I didn't like getting my butt kicked. Discovered guitar, and after that, really fell in love with the art of playing, and then eventually the art of writing became more important to me.
You know who's a great violin player? Was Larry Fine from the Three Stooges.
Was he now?
Yeah, Curly Larry Moe. Larry was a violin player, right? Am I right or am I right? Yes, I am.
You're correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
that must have been a very difficult instrument to play.
The violin?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I remember my mom told me. She said, and I think she guessed this. Sorry, Mom, I love you, but I think she said, if you could learn the violin first, then you can learn every other instrument afterwards. Everything else will be a lot easier. And God gosh darn it, she was right. She was absolutely right. 'Cause-
mothers are always right.
Yeah.
So your main instrument is
Whether you
guitar.
want to admit it or not.
Yeah, guitar and voice. Yeah,
Voice.
guitar and voice.
So you're the lead singer, or do you go back and forth?
Well, yeah, I'm the lead singer. There was for a brief time in our band, for our second record, Oh Night, we did have a second singer, which was awesome to have. I wanted in my mind our band to be along the lines of like Triumph for the Eagles, where we had 2 lead vocalists who could share the workload. Because there's nothing more fun than singing 2 hours straight with no break by yourself. It's great. I totally recommend it.
Yes.
I love the idea of, okay, singing a couple songs, I could take a break, then the other guy could take over, and so on and so forth. And also, it was great being able to write for someone else's voice. I get such a thrill from that. Because I don't like it always being, oh, it's the me show. I wrote it, I sing it. No, it's sometimes so much better when someone else, takes it, sees it differently than you do, and then takes it in another direction that you never even anticipated. And I just get the biggest thrill from that.
How did you guys meet? You and
Well, that's easy, man. Kingham. Joe's a neighbor. We've been friends for ever since we moved in. We made fast friends, and it was only a matter of years and time that our paths would finally converge when we can actually do music together. Because he had his own bands for a while. He was in a metal band called Makeshift and a whole bunch of punk bands prior to that. I had my own neuroses going on, so we didn't really have time to converge. But around 2014, 2015, the stars aligned and we decided to start playing. And then Joe moved from being a guitar player to learning how to play drums for this damn band, which was
Nice.
absolutely insane, but he did it. Props to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. When you write your music, is there themes? Like, would you do an album, or is it just you find something that's a niche, something you enjoy, and then you just write them? Is there themes to some of this stuff, and in terms of what you do?
That's a good question. Up until the band started, I would have said, whatever comes to mind. Almost every single song in our catalog, excluding the cover ones, they're all related. It's all one big story.
Beautiful.
And
you write them too, right?
Mostly. Joe also co-writes with me on some songs as well. But yeah, I could probably, if I had some time, I could map out how all the songs relate to one another. So there is this bigger story that was being told throughout the course of the records. Where the story was going, I don't know. But there was
To be
always
continued.
Yeah, there was always some sort of narrative going on throughout every single record. Even some of the characters start reappearing on albums. Like The first record, I don't say her name, but she's referenced in a song called She Wants Whiskey, and then she appears again with sort of like an origin story on the second record on a song called Sadie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was that deliberate? No, it just seemed to happen. I wrote the songs and I went, oh, these two are kind of related. Oh.
You want me to ask some of these questions?
So now, I'm going to have to listen to them now, because now I have to go and I have to see the timeline, the storyline. I like to do that.
Well, one of the easiest ones to say the easiest one to find is that there's always this tragic lovers scenario that seems to be playing out over and over again on each record. The narrative and the tone of them shift from each record. So like on the first record, there was a song called I'm Money, which is almost like this, ooh, I'm this devil guy, I've got all this swagger and I'm almost talking down to this person, sort of like this weird power imbalance, but there's a seduction piece to it as well. The second record, its companion piece, is a song called Memphis, where it's more about just two human beings. They're the same people, just connecting regarding their lover's dysfunction. And then this last one, I would say, is Mary Blue Eyes, which is just, we're two lovers on the run, but we know we're about to get caught, and this is our last moments together, so we better make the best of it. So that's one of the themes that was recurring.
Are we writing these from experience, or are these just...
I can't tell you that.
Okay. I won't go any further with that one, then we'll let that one go.
I know this is the age of social media, but you can't tell everyone your secrets.
I agree. You know what? And you know what? I think it's more fun when you write music and you write lyrics and people hear them and they go into their own space with them, because that's how they connect too, right?
Do you have a favorite of all of your songs?
Oh, that's a great question. It changes on my mood. I can narrow it. You know what? I really like the song "Oh Night" for some reason, because it's a true story, and the fact that I was able to tell that story in that type of song, for some reason, every time I hear it, I still kind of get a little bit of that, not douche chills, thankfully, but like these little goosebumps where I'm like, ooh, that kind of hits me. But there's nothing terribly so super interesting or weird about that song that would make it exceptional to me. But I think it's just the connection I have to the history of where that song came from. I think that might be my current, but still like my favorite. Off the new record, I mean, Mystery Me Theater was, to me, just, that was a gift.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I love that one, and a few others off the record too.
And we play them all on Halton Hills Online Radio, by the way. Between 6 and 7 weeknights, we have a show called Moose Tracks, where it's Foster the Moose and myself and Peter the piano player with the polyester tie, and we play Canadian songs for an entire hour, and we play 2 local musicians an hour, and we're going to start having an 8:15 a.m. local musician of the day or of the week, where we feature. Like, what I'd like to do is play your songs for a week on our morning show.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you.
And really, because that's what community radio is all about. It's about helping along our fellow citizens. Not only, like, we're into the community, but we're, like you asked Leah, we're very much a music station. And we do our homework, we have interviews and everything, and we really love our local musicians.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
And I know Leah's got a bunch of questions, so I'm going to let her wrap everything up here.
So going forward, give us a little rundown. What's happening going forward from
What's
this point?
happening, my man?
Because we know we've talked already prior to doing this little chat that we're having, that Red River Riot, you're looking at doing other projects, no more solo. So take it away from there. What's happening?
Okay. Well, first off, this album deserves its due. It's a beautiful record. So for the immediate term right now, it's about just promoting and sharing it to as many people as we can, because it would be a darn shame for something like a double record coming out of this little small town here with all the layers and craziness that's going on with it. It deserves to be heard. I feel it's an important part of our cultural tapestry here, so to speak.
Awesome.
Even as weird and unusual as it is, it's not cut from the same cloth as maybe as a lot of stuff here, but it is highly informed by life here. So
I can't wait.
oh, it truly is.
I can't wait.
So that's the first part, is just making sure this record can get its due to the best of our ability. Understandably, life these days, social media is basically a dumpster fire of humanity. So it's a little hard to and it's terrible for everyone in the sense that you're constantly overwhelmed by new stuff, new music, new sounds, every single second of the day. So I don't get upset in the sense of like folks aren't necessarily hearing it like they should, because it's very impossible for folks to be able to experience that, like, let's say, the way we grew up with music.
Well, and that's something, it's funny you say that, because recently it's been one of those things where I've had, many people, off and on that are younger than I am, what was the 70s like? What was it like when you were going to school in the 70s and all that music was coming out and there wasn't 10,000 bands? There was more focus on individual bands and artists, and and they were playing real instruments.
Yeah, and everything was mustard yellow and smelled of cigarettes.
There you go.
Those were good times.
And the peace sign.
And shag rubs. And I was the channel changer. I was the official channel changer for my parents. I used to go over and change it over to Channel 9. And
Big Daddy the remote.
That was an esteemed honor back then. Same with getting your dad out beer from the fridge. As you could tell, I've had to do that a few times in my day.
Now, once again, I have to ask you this: how do they find you? That's the most important thing. You have to go. How do they find me on the internet? We'll give you one more opportunity to tell us where.
Well, okay, but hang on.
I didn't finish your question.
Exactly.
Okay. I didn't want to jump in like a bad umpire.
But you did.
Okay.
No, he doesn't do that. That's just Big Daddy. Everybody's used to that. So anyways.
So yeah, I tried to give this album its due. We put a lot of love into it, about a year of hard work to make it what it is. So not saying it's the greatest thing ever made or anything, but we're very proud of it, and we were excited to share it with as many people who are interested in hearing it. That being said, the next project I'm working on is with an up-and-coming metal singer called Lacey Steele. In the middle of writing for that one. And then after that, I don't have a plan. I'm basically going where the wind tells me to go.
Beautiful. That's the way to do it. That's how it works. So, I guess upcoming, as you develop what you're doing and as things come forward, you'll have to let us know so we can...
Oh, for sure.
Do you have a name for this yet, or is it still early stages that you haven't got?
It's under the name of Lacey Steele. That's what the name is going to be. It's her project, sort of like a Lee Aaron, Lita Ford type of.
There you go.
Thing.
Really?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, you got to keep in touch with us, so we'll have to get it out on the radio and.
She's a fiery woman.
That name, that's what the name sounds like to me. Lacey Steele. That's a powerhouse, strong.
I think when I hear her sing the songs, I think this is like, imagine if Tina Turner sang metal. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah.
One question I have to ask before.
I might be upselling it a bit. Sorry, Lacey, but
that's what we're here to do. That's all good. That's good. That's good.
I want to ask you this before we wrap it up, because I want to ask this question.
Sure.
I've been a rock and roll radio DJ for a long time, 50 years. I want to know your influences. What radio station did you listen to when you were a kid?
See,
who turned you on to say, I want to do that? Your big musical influence. If you have to pick one record on a desert island to take and play forever, what would it be?
Oh, that's impossible to answer.
I know.
Thank you. That's what I thought. That was a pretty broad question.
There are albums that specifically I can point to that said this changed my life in this direction, and I can name a few of them off. Is Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells.
Oh yeah, I had to.
So Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells 2. Dead Can Dance, Within the Realm of a Dying Sun.
Nice.
A lot of stuff that was world music was a huge influence on me.
I'm going to get off track here. Sorry for a second. Have you ever heard of any of the bands? I'm sure you have. Catatonia,
Yep.
Opeth.
I've seen them live several times. Yeah.
Me too. Out in Guelph, I went out in Guelph and I saw them, the Catatonia with Opeth. At one point, downtown Guelph.
I was there. You couldn't get it. You couldn't even get in. I was at the. I actually ended up just sitting outside, going.
That's why you get there 2 hours before it opens.
Yeah.
I did. We were at the front, and I was kind of going, "Oh, why did I do that?" My son was behind me holding the barriers, so I wasn't getting smashed into the barrier. So I just had to ask that because that's something I follow, as well as Steve Wilson from Porcupine Tree.
Yeah, I would say that
I've seen him every year for years.
Yeah, I would say In Absentia from them was a pivotal record too for me. You can definitely hear that influence on the song Charlatans off our record. That's kind of a tip to the hat to that one. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to hear that one too. Yeah, Steve Wilson I've followed for a long time, up until the last few years. I went pretty much every June, if I remember correctly, was when it's been about 5 years I guess, but for many years when they'd come just after Porcupine Tree, and he went solo and was doing the work with all these different musicians. Yeah, amazing. Anyways, I'm off track. So.
I know, and now you said that.
I had to see if you were familiar with some of those.
Yeah, I saw the Fear of a Blank Planet tour.
Yeah.
That was great. And then I saw them double headline with Opeth before that, when they were doing the soft music, the Damnation record.
Yep.
That was really, really good.
I love Mike Oldfield too. I just think
well, you know I do.
amazing.
That's like I said, I'm all over the map. But anyways, so going forward, I guess we'll be anticipating. So I guess you better get moving on that stuff so we can.
I was writing.
get it out there.
I was writing all last night and a little bit this morning. Don't worry,
it's coming.
The whip's coming to me.
Yep, it's coming. I see
I'm working.
It's coming.
Don't worry.
Well, this will be the first of many, and we'll kind of keep up, and hopefully you keep going with your stuff. And
I
we will
can't
definitely,
It's a musician. That doesn't end.
Yeah, you look like the kind of guy that keeps going forever, like Leah and I. We just keep going like motors, away we go.
A lot of artists will attest. Like if we don't keep producing or keep writing, and it's not for the validation by any stretch. It's if we don't create, we kind of lose ourselves.
Well, look at McCartney. He's playing in Rio this week. He's Rio, or no, Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's 80 something. It's always going to be with you. Even if you're a very rich Beatle, you're still going to want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter.
Is there anything that you want to say and get out there? That's not a question. It's just no.
Unfortunately, just other than thanks for having me,
No
and
problem,
thanks
right.
for considering and listening to us and promoting our work. I really appreciate it. And all you folks who are watching or listening, give the Red River Riot's Mystery Meat Theater a spin. It's 70 minutes, might take a bit of time, but you might enjoy it.
You will enjoy it. I know you'll enjoy it. That's why even just with that solo guitar piece that I put up, that I shared earlier this morning, that'll give you an idea. Definitely go and check it out.
All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me, Leah.
And Chris, thank you.
Mr. Big Daddy.
Mr. Big Daddy. And we'd like to thank you for joining us. And we've been here at the Acton Bandshell. We haven't mentioned that yet, have we? Which is right at the end of Fairy Lake, where you have to walk 2 miles to get to.
I'm never going to hear the end of that one. That's another story.
Have you ever played up here?
No, but I have done yoga in the park here.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Actually, no. I think I have, illegally. Yeah. Well, I did not.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
Okay, edit.
All right, I'll let you wrap it up, will you?
Well, there's not much else to say. We're just thankful that Chris came out, and we were able to get to highlight some local music here, because that's what we'd like to do. And if there's anybody else out there as well, local musicians that would like to do the same thing, and reach out to us. And we're going to wait now for Chris. Now he's got we put a bit of a flame under his butt, that now we're waiting for his stuff.
Oh, you just take and take.
Oh yeah, of course.
Was this not enough?
No, never, never.
Check out our YouTube channel, folks. Thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much.
So now we have JC here, who had a few questions for Chris that he really wanted to ask him. So we got JC Legend here, who's part of our team. And I'm just going to scoot over here for a few minutes, and he's going to have a chat with Chris. So enjoy.
Bye.
Something I've always wondered with musicians, is there any instrument that you wished you could have mastered that you couldn't?
Mastered? Oh yeah, cello. I have a cello in my basement. I play it terribly. I wish I had more time and the focus to learn how to play that damn thing a lot better than the way I do it now, which is a lot like
Do you try to get? Do you match the tone of your voice, or do you try and get lower?
Yeah, I try to get lower. I think that's most other instruments I'm able to have access to. I can kind of work my way around it. I can fake it okay.
Take it till you fake it.
Yeah, but the cello is something that always has been such a beautiful instrument. I could never really make that thing sing. I mean, that's a level of skill and dedication that I simply don't have at this time.
So there's no recordings of you trying.
There are. There actually is a little bit of cello on the song Memphis in our second record, and I think I did a smidgen. Oh, yes, not on this record. When I did the cover, this isn't a Red River Riot thing, but I did a cover of Triumph's Blinding Lights show.
Nice.
And I did cello on that.
Okay.
Thankfully, it was just me holding a bow and dragging it over the string for the open note, so they didn't have to really do too much work.
Right.
But it makes me technically fall into the cool school of multi-instrumentalists.
Okay, but no TSO for you.
No TSO for me, sadly.
All right. Now you mentioned hand drums and other type of say exotic instruments.
Yes.
Is there some that you find you again want to work with?
Hammer dulcimer.
Yeah.
Always loved hammer dulcimer. All the different kinds. It's the Saphir from Iran. That's probably my favorite one that I would, or Santir, sorry, that I would love to get my hands on and start playing. Lisa Gerard from Dead Can Dance uses a hammer dulcimer in an unbelievably beautiful way, and I've always wanted to incorporate more of that into my work. In the past, I used a lot of samples, so in my earlier bodies of work, you would hear dulcimer, but I had to use a keyboard to do it. But I would love to have a real one, full-sized, and driving my dog and cat nuts.
Now, I know what a dulcimer is, but I'm not familiar with a hammer dulcimer.
Well, imagine you've opened up a piano, right? And you've seen all the strings in there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hammer that's striking the string. So instead of you using the keys to strike the hammers to strike the string, you have a box with strings on it, double strings, similar to a piano, and you take hammers and you just
Okay, similar to a xylophone kind of movement,
Pretty much.
except enclosed.
yeah.
Okay, all right. And one band that you never got to see, you wish you could, whether they were gone before your days or you just didn't get to see them before they were done their...
Triumph.
Yeah.
Triumph.
So you weren't down at the Forum in 1983 watching them? No.
I was
I was there and I enjoyed it.
You were there, you lucky W. I think I was 6 or 7 and living in the U.S. at that time.
Makes it kind of complicated.
Yeah.
I want to go to Woodstock, Dad. No, you're only 8 years old. You can't go.
Which is ironic, because by '88, I did get to see my first concert, which was Jimmy Page.
Really?
Yeah, Jimmy Page was my first concert. He was like my first guitar hero,
Solo,
along with
solo?
along with Rick Emmett. So seeing Jimmy Page as my first time was like religious. And then my second concert, my parents were very cool with this. They took me to see Jeff Beck with Stevie Ray Vaughan at Madison Square Garden.
And you were about this tall?
I was 13. I didn't really grow much yet.
Well, it's okay, I mean, age-wise, rather than still in short pants, or you could wear jeans now.
Yeah, I was allowed to wear regular jeans at that point in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing fancy.
No.
Okay, and what's the artwork?
Oh, this was Drunk at a Party in 2000.
Well, I always have to ask about people's tattoos because I want to know if the artwork has significance.
But what I normally tell people, especially strangers, I just look at them dead in the eye and I just go, prison. There's actually an image it's a god-awful image of what my first solo album was that I did back in 2001. It basically had this like sun thing, and I'm like at the party and I went, I am at a party and there's a tattoo guy. What the most logical thing I must do tonight is to get a tattoo.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? So that's the story of that grand tattoo.
All right, so you had somebody do it rather than you were there with your left hand trying to do it.
I might have well have done it myself.
Okay.
I mean, the line doesn't even go properly all the way around.
I make no comments about the accuracy. Sometimes that's built into the tattoo to say something, but this is just a...
All right, you know what we'll say? We'll say it has a certain rustic charm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, that's all I got for you. But
Okay.
thank you for the answers.
No problem.
And any more questions, I'll ask you at your next show, whenever that is.
Yes. Okay.